I guess you know what time it is. Yeah, I know, because it's about that time for the Toni G. Campbell podcast.
Hello and welcome to Conversations with Toni on Toni G. Campbell, the podcast. This is the show for my Gen X warriors, where we talk about our challenges and victories. And on this episode, we will discuss how to replace your car without going into panic mode. Now tell me, have you ever just had a car die on you? Have you ever had a car break on you? Not break down, but break. My axle broke and I was stranded in the middle of the street. Now on today's episode, my co-host and I will dive deep into a discussion about how to replace your car without going into panic mode. Right after a word from our sponsor, I will be back with my co-host for today, Tyrone Campbell, who is my amazing husband. So stay tuned.
1, 2, 1, 2, and I say this is Ty Controller, and I'm here to talk about Dip Square. Dip Square is an online shop that specializes in unique graphic t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, and other apparel. They also offer services like personalized mugs and shoes. Did I just say shoes? Yeah, you can get sneakers with your picture on them at Dip Square. They also have tote bags and other items. Right now, you can save on t-shirts every day by using the discount code I Love Tees. That's I Love Teez. You get 14% off because every day is Valentine's Day at Dip Square. So check them out online at dipsquare.com. Dipsquare.com. I guess you know what time it is. Yeah, I know, because it's about that time for the Toni G. Campbell podcast.
Welcome back. Now today we are talking about how to replace a car without going into panic mode. My co-host for today is Tyrone Campbell, my awesome husband. Hello, hubby.
Hey, sweetie, how you doing?
I am well. How are you doing today?
I am good. I'm just glad to be back on your show, doing all these shows, and doing your thing. So, congratulations, and I'm glad to be back.
Well, thank you. So let's talk.
Yes.
We are, when we got married, we each had a car. So we had 2 cars starting out.
Yes.
And since we've been married, we've actually purchased 5 additional cars.
We have purchased 5 cars, none of them new, by the way.
That is true. Well,
No.
Well, the car that I came into the marriage with, I did purchase new. It had 26 miles on it.
When we got married, that's a huge car.
I know. Well, by that time, of course, yes.
Right. But yeah, after we said I do, we have bought 5 cars. None of them have been new.
That is correct. So.
Yeah.
Okay. After my brand new car that I purchased, it was a Pontiac G6.
Yes.
The actual month that I paid that car off, that was the catalytic converter went out on it.
Yeah, the catalytic converter. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I never thought that it was true. I always heard the rumor about, you pay off your car and then it goes to pot, it goes haywire, breaks down on you, whatever. And I'm like, no, y'all tripping. Y'all just don't take care of y'all cars. And it happened to me, people. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get a new car. Because that thing was expensive, right?
Yeah, to replace a catalytic converter, it was expensive. And that's like you can't really weekend garage that thing.
No.
They're not the same on every car. And, sometimes it might be the O2 sensors. I mean, I'm being a little technical, but nope, it was catalytic converter. And that being said, you won't pass inspection with it. Your car will drive, but you will not pass inspection. So that car's, if your birthday's coming up, you're not driving that car unless you fix it. So
exactly.
Yeah, we was not that we were screwed, but we had to figure out what to do. So we looked at what were you paying on that car?
I had a great deal on that car because I had 0% financing, which I will let anyone know out there. At that moment, I had just purchased a house and I needed a car, and that's when I went and purchased that car. And I was like, they're not going to give me anything for my car because I had a Toyota something, some little box car. And I literally had to tow my car into the dealership. And I was like, okay, they're not going to give me nothing for my car. And I had no idea what my credit was like because I just bought this house. I was a single mom. I'm like, I don't know if I make enough money for anything. And they literally gave me 0% down. So people, try it. All they can say is no.
Right.
So 0%, it gave me that payment for a brand new car was like $250, and it was only $250 because I got the Gap and I got insurance that if something happened to me, it would pay off my car because I was like, it can go to my son. So at that point, I spent extra money, just because the car payment was so low.
Okay, so what we did was we already had in the budget $250.
Yes.
And also to backtrack, before your car went out, I had to replace a car.
Oh yeah, we did get the black Jeep before my red car went out.
So I was originally driving a Chrysler Cirrus.
Yes.
Not a bad car, but I had the one and only Cirrus with a computer. The computers were replaced 3 times. So now I want you to picture this. I got this car. It's like a base model. It was used, and we replaced the computer. They sent 3 computers because the computers they couldn't program them. So they were locked. They were getting used computers. So the car was worth $1,200. They're like, if we can't fix this car for $300 with a $300 computer, you might as well just get rid of this car. And I'm like, okay, well, fine, So my guys fixed the car. I had to take the car around the corner to the Walmart. Get out the car. I tried to, and I locked the doors with the remote. Unlock the doors. The alarm goes off. That car didn't have an alarm. It was like Tony Stark. It was like Jarvis in artificial intelligence. So I had the only Chrysler Cirrus without an alarm act like it had an alarm. So they reprogrammed it. So we drove that car. I had that car for a little while, and then the everything just started to go wrong. But it was mainly computer related. So we had to get a new car. And so I'm like, well, what can we afford? Yes.
Because we believe in budgeting, people.
And we were, this is like a year to the marriage. Like, well, what can we afford? And she goes, well, we can afford, I think, like $200, $250. I think you said something like $250 or
probably
something.
$250.
So I found this black 1999 GMC Jimmy. It was a little 2-door Jimmy, but it was a stick shift.
Yes.
Because my buddy, the mechanic, he said, any car you get used, get a stick shift. You don't have to worry about a lot of maintenance. Mm-hmm. Man, I found that thing on Craigslist, I think, for $4,000.
Yep.
And we drove down to Jodico Road. I remember we're coming to get this car. We drove down there. I think we had to give them $1,000 down, and so I'm financing the last. Now, mind you, when we got married, our credit wasn't good.
No,
so we financed straight from. We financed straight from these guys. It was a couple. Mm-hmm. We paid like $160 a month. Yep. And so, and that was only in budget. 18 months.
Yes.
So
it was in budget, though.
In the budget.
In budget.
After 18 months, we got the title to that car, and I had that car for 5 years.
Yeah, it was a pretty good car.
So, and not a lot of major repairs. I had to replace the clutch, and I had to replace it was always something with the clutch. And my story is these cars, this black car had a lot of plastic parts, and I was talking to my coworker about that.
Uh-huh.
A lot of your cars you're driving got plastic in it, in the motor part. So there was just pieces that the car was pretty old, so they couldn't get those parts. So I just had to put it in the driveway for a while when we had other cars.
Yeah.
But I had that. Yeah, I rode that car hard for 5 years.
Yeah. And the good thing was, like you said, it was a 5-speed, so there wasn't as much maintenance for that car, even though we did have to replace several things with it, over time.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Yeah, but I think I told him we didn't spend no more in 5 years. We didn't spend no more than like $2,000 to keep that car on the road. It was pretty. I mean, it wasn't bad on gas. I mean, for 99, but we set a number in our budget to say, well, if we have to replace a car, this is how much we can afford, and we were way underneath that.
Oh yeah, which is also great. So if you stick to your budget or below, you will always do fabulous in life. I'm just letting you know.
Right. So now we get back to your red. So your red car dies, and now we have to replace your car.
Yes.
And so now the interesting thing about your red car dying is you was pregnant.
But did we know at that time?
No.
No, we didn't know. That's a whole nother funny story for a different day.
So, all right. So now you had a 4-door car.
Yes.
And so we're thinking, because we traded it in before you had the baby.
Yep.
So that summer, you're driving your G6, no problems. So it was around like November when the catalytic converter is acting up. November, December. Yeah, no, it was December. Because your birthday is January, and we had to get you a new car before your birthday.
Well, then by then... Oh, well...
Yeah, because Kaden was born in February.
Well, then I knew I was pregnant by then.
Yeah, but I'm saying... Yes, you did. You knew you was pregnant before we had to buy the new car.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was like your unofficial push gift.
That was my push gift,
All right.
Yes.
So
after the motorcycles. We bought motorcycles.
Yeah, we bought motorcycles too.
We forgot about the motorcycles. That's not included in the 5 vehicles we've purchased.
Yeah.
We also purchased 2 motorcycles.
Yeah, but we paid cash for those.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So getting back to what we decided to do was get a Jeep. Mm-hmm. We found a Jeep Patriot.
5-speed.
5-speed.
Because we both can drive sticks. And if you can learn how to drive a stick, you can learn how to drive anything, people.
Yes.
I'm just letting you know. That's a very important thing that they don't really teach anymore. But if you can learn how to drive a stick.
And you actually get a better deal on a stick shift vehicle because people don't know how to drive them. So if they got one on a lot that's been sitting there for 4 or 5 months, they want to get rid of that thing. You're like, yeah, I'll take it. So we bought you the Jeep.
Yes.
And we gave them the red car. Mm-hmm. And so we're in a Jeep. Now the crazy thing about the Jeep, again, we're talking about we're building our credit and stuff like that. The Jeep was the only vehicle that had the highest interest rate, and that was 6.9. No, the Jeep was higher than that. I take that back. The Jeep, it doesn't matter. But what I'm establishing something here. So the Jeep was the only vehicle with the highest interest rate. So we wound up paying like $320 a month for that Jeep.
Yeah, probably something like that.
All right.
Yeah.
So now we got $320 for the Jeep, We got $160
for the black
car. But the black car, the Jeep was 5 years. Mm-hmm. The black car was 18 months.
Yep.
So by the time I bought the black car in May, and by the time you bought your car, by the time you bought your Jeep, I think we had already finished paying for the black car.
I'm not sure.
Or we might have had a couple of months of overlap.
I was about to say, I think there was an overlap.
So in our budget, we were never paying more than $500.
Exactly.
For this car, for the two cars, and then so my payment falls off. I own that car for another 4 years, and then you wind up what? Pregnant again.
You act like I did that by myself.
Yes, I do. I do act like you did it by yourself, and I apologize. I take full responsibility.
Exactly.
Me and my partner.
Because I told you not to touch me, and you just kept touching me.
Well, I mean, you would go to sleep and you back that thing up on me. I mean, what you want?
We're supposed to be telling people how to replace their cars. Go back to what we talking about.
So, all right. So then, so now we want to make a decision because you're in a Jeep. The Jeep Liberty. I mean, I'm sorry, you wasn't a Liberty. It was a Patriot. The Jeep Patriot is like the entry level. No, the Compass is smaller.
Oh,
but it's a small Jeep. It could you could get 5 people in there. You can get, you
can't have no hips though.
Yeah. You can get 5 people in the Jeep. So you had the car seat, and then so now we have to think. How do we get 2 car seats in there? Because our kids are 20 months apart.
Well, the car seats really wasn't that wasn't the issue. Mm-hmm. My biggest issue was, at this point, I have a double stroller.
Oh, yeah.
And the trunk. Yes. And it was like,
right.
If I went shopping, then it's like I had to take the stroller out, and then when I had to put stuff in, then I have to put the stroller in, put the stuff on top of the stroller, and then if I went to a different store, then I have to take everything off the stroller, take the stroller out, put everything back in the trunk. It was just too much with 2 kids at that point.
Right, correct.
And I'm like, I at that point, I was like, I'm just not going shopping anymore.
Yeah.
Because I have 2 kids, a double stroller, a tiny trunk.
Yeah, tiny.
And it was just frustrating, especially on a rainy day. I promise you I did not leave the house on a rainy day.
Well, all right, so now Sydney's born, and Sydney was born in October. Mm-hmm. So the funny story, we bought the house. So Tony's like, you better close on this house before I had this baby. I'm not going to have this baby, in somebody else's house, because we were renting. We were renting while we went through this process.
Yes.
We were roommates with one of our good friends, and we'll get on the show. So Sydney was born in October. We moved into the house. And then Sydney came
2 days later.
2 days later. We didn't even unpack yet.
Nope.
So we had one of those. It wasn't a pod. It was a Atlanta Mini Go Mini. Mm-hmm. So it was Go Minis, not a pod, but it was a thing. So we wound up not being able to unpack. Had the baby. So this is October. So you're doing your thing in the Jeep, and you're like, this ain't working out.
It's not working.
So what is the quote you say? How to replace the car without
going crazy.
Okay, so we were going into panic mode.
Yes.
So, but our panic mode wasn't like the car didn't break. The car didn't break or anything.
We just needed bigger.
Right. So our panic mode was big. We need more room. So we did our research and we narrowed it down to. Well, I think I did all the research. I narrowed it down a Volvo XC90.
Mm-hmm.
That is the big Volvo SUV. That thing
is amazing.
That thing is huge.
It is.
And so we found one. It was only like 7 years old, and it was $10,000.
Yeah, for a 7-passenger.
7-passenger. And even
amazing.
with the back seats up, you were still able, like, you could put one seat down and get the double stroller, and it still have
plenty of room for my groceries.
Okay, so
I was in heaven.
Bingo. So what we did was we had looked at the budget, and we said, well, based on this, we got the 320 for the Jeep, and so we're like, well, we can budget for like really $600 a month for a car.
Yeah, because at that point, I know by that point we sold both of the motorcycles.
Yeah,
right?
we were
done with the motorcycles. We sold them.
We sold them. We sold them before we moved here.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but in our budget, so the way this thing works is, we say our budget is, let's just use $600.
Okay.
$600 is what we're gonna pay for a car. So for 2 cars, you just pay $300 a piece.
Yeah.
Right. So, and guess what, people? If you pay off one car, take the other $300, put it in savings.
Yeah.
You know.
Or you can even dump it onto that car payment.
Onto the other car to pay that off. Now you take the whole $600 and put it in savings. So, but what we did was we had in our budget, we knew what our car budget was, and so when we got the Volvo, that payment was like $220. Right, $221. Plus the $330 or something like that
for the Jeep. Yeah,
no, $220 and $320. So it was like $540.
Yep.
So we're
still under budget.
Yeah, we're like, oh, that's in our budget. So,
and at that point we had three cars.
At that point we had 3 cars, and what's unique about the 3 cars is one could break,
and we still have another car.
So, you know what? Why don't you take a break so I can catch my breath so we can talk about the rest of the cars.
Okay. And this has been a great conversation. And I will take a quick break and we'll be right back.
All right. 1 2 1 2, and I say this is Ty Controller, and I'm here to talk about Dip Square. Dip Square is an online shop that specializes in unique graphic t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, and other apparel. They also offer services like personalized mugs and shoes. Did I just say shoes? Yeah, you can get sneakers with your picture on them at Dip Square. They also have tote bags and other items. Right now, you can save on t-shirts every day by using the discount code I Love Tees. That's I Love TEEZ. You get 14% off because every day is Valentine's Day at Dip Square. So check them out online at dipsquare.com. Dipsquare.com. I guess you know what time it is. Yeah, I know, because it's about that time for the Toni G. Campbell podcast.
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in. We will continue the conversation on how to replace your car without going into panic mode with my co-host for today, Tyrone Campbell, my awesome husband.
Well, thank you, honey.
Now, we were talking about, we just purchased the Volvo XC90,
right.
And we were still under budget for what we decided to spend on cars.
Right. So we have three cars. The black car we own, the Jeep, and a Volvo. So the funny thing about the Jeep and the Volvo is that we've paid off the Jeep. We bought the Jeep, and then 20 months later, technically, we're buying the Volvo, or like 2 years later. There's a 2-year difference.
Yeah, it's 2 years.
So, what I think? Oh, we went on a cruise.
Mm-hmm.
So now here's another panic mode.
This is how we got this truck.
All right, so check this out. We went on a cruise, and I'm gonna tell everybody. We drove to Miami.
Yeah, we were driving to Miami.
So it was four of us. It was me, Toni,
and two of our girlfriends.
Right, and we drove to Miami like after work. So we left because the cruise leaving Saturday or something. We left Friday night. We driving to Miami. I think it might have been like 5 a.m, and I fell asleep at the wheel. Mind
you, I just asked him at the gas station, Are you okay? Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nah.
Go ahead.
All right, so I fell asleep at the wheel and hit the guardrail. The guardrail. There you go. Hit the guardrail and scratched
in my car now.
Oh, yeah.
My car.
I'm not allowed to drive her cars, really.
No,
anymore.
No more. Mm-mm.
So I scratched up the Volvo. Yeah. So we pulled into we went on our cruise.
Oh, yeah. We still went on a cruise.
The door would close, but it was kind of bent in, so the top where the window was kind of open. So, we had that air noise going.
Coming home. Driving all the way back from Miami.
All right, so, but we call the insurance like, hey, we'll be back. We'll bring the car to you next week because we're going on the cruise. So they gave me the rental.
Well, they gave me the rental because it was my car.
Right.
So when we get to Enterprise, do you know what they gave me for rental? A big old truck.
They gave us a Dodge Ram pickup truck. I'm like, I do not want no Dodge Ram.
Exactly. And I was like, man, am I going to be able to drive this every day with 2 kids? Getting up, because this thing is high now. Yeah. And I'm like, did that one have rails?
No.
It didn't even have side rails or anything. So I'm hopping up, because mind you, I'm 5'5.5", and I'm hopping up into this truck. And I'm like, babe, I don't want to drive this every day.
So
I don't.
Right. So you went back to the Jeep.
Yes.
And I drove this truck.
Big mistake.
I fell in love with the truck.
Big mistake, ladies. Don't let them drive the truck.
Hey, the same day. Because they were like, take the truck, and then you could come back when we get cars. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm not coming back with no... I'm driving this truck. I had that truck 3 weeks. And I'm telling her, I got to get this truck. I got to get a truck. I got to buy a truck. Now, I'm from New York. We don't have trucks. People don't drive trucks in New York.
No. Even though when we went back to visit afterward, we saw a lot of trucks in New York.
Those are people from Atlanta.
I was like, that was weird. Okay.
No. So, all right. So I had this truck. It was a Ram. It had the Bluetooth. I mean, it had the works in there. 20-inch wheels. I mean, plush. It fits me because I'm a big guy.
And that's how they get you, people. They give you those nice luxury rentals for, and then next thing you know, you trying to go get one.
So, let's talk about me going to get one. Uh-huh. So, we went on a cruise in January. So, it was in February. The next month, I talked to Toni. I said, I think I want to get a truck. Not that any of our cars are broken.
No.
At this point, she's back in her Volvo. I'm driving the Jeep to work and stuff like that. And so we owed how much we owed?
Oh, yeah, because you took over the Jeep because we sold the black car.
Right. No. I'm sorry. The black car was sitting in the driveway, and then we sold it. That didn't work out. And I donated it to Cars for Kids.
Yes.
So we're down to 2 vehicles.
Two vehicles.
On another podcast, we talked about you have to get rid of something to get something else.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So the whole thing about me getting this truck is I need to get rid of something. So I'm thinking I'll get rid of the Jeep so I can get this truck. And I go to do the deal. I went online. I got pre-approved from my credit union. Those are my peeps. I'm going to give them a shout out. Associated Credit Union in the house. But, so I get pre-approved from the credit union. And they work with Enterprise. Enterprise, yeah. So we went to Enterprise to get this truck, and these guys are like, I mean, and they're nice. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, they're nice. But what they tried to do was they tried to do the trade. Yeah. So we were upside down in the Jeep. Mm-hmm. And we weren't upside down because of interest or anything. We were upside down because we got a bad deal, adding all of this
extra stuff. Yeah, I think we had
the service warranty.
Yeah, the warranties and all kind of crazy stuff on there.
I don't recommend that. I don't recommend any of that. So we were upside down in the Jeep because we would have been paid that Jeep off. Mm-hmm. We're upside down, and then the dude was like, okay, well, the truck is like, that truck was $27,000 for Bighorn. I would have been saving like $14,000, but he's like, well, now we got to put the Jeep into it, and at the end of the day, you're gonna pay like $650. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
Nope, not in the budget. Not in the budget.
And they looking at me like, well, you could use your tax. No, I'm not using my tax money. And I told them, I don't need that Jeep. I mean, I don't need that truck. I got a Jeep. I don't need that truck. I'll see y'all next year. Mm-hmm. So I told Toni, I said, well, what? How much can I afford? How much is in the budget? There's the key word. How much is in the budget for a truck? You said $450.
Yeah.
So that was my max payment.
Yep.
So the Jeep we were paying $320. Mm-hmm. So Toni started paying the Jeep like if we had the truck.
Yep.
Toni was paying $450 on the Jeep. And then a year later, I go back to Enterprise to do the same exact. She's like, you know what? You can go ahead and see if you can get the truck this year.
Because he deserved it. I mean, my husband he's a big man. He is 6'5", and he's fitting himself into this tiny little Jeep every day. And I don't know, it's just like, you know how you have this big guy just get out this little tiny vehicle, and that's how it was. And he suffered for an entire year. So I'm like, babe, get your truck because, you fit in it, and you deserve it because he was just so patient and awesome. And, and the great thing is that we didn't give up the Jeep. Nope. We went ahead and just bought the truck.
Yep. So we have paid, by Toni adding the extra money to the Jeep, we cut the what we owed in half in 12 months. Mm-hmm. So I think we owed 10. It was down to 5.
Yep.
And the Jeep was worth 4.
Yes.
so I go back to Enterprise. This is a year, literally a year later. I go back to Enterprise. Yeah, I'm ready to do the deal. So, I go back to my credit union. Yeah, I'm ready to buy the truck now. Okay, here, you're pre-approved, blah, blah, blah. All right, I go back to Enterprise, and they're like, okay, well, we don't need that Jeep. You can do the deal without it, and you're going to pay $400.
Still under budget.
Still under.
That's just what makes me happy, staying under budget.
So I come home with a truck, and then Toni is like, you know what? The kid's a little older. I'm going to take this Jeep and go Uber.
I did. I was like, it's just sitting here in the garage. And granted, it's good for, an extra vehicle in case any of the vehicles went down or if we had to put it in service or anything. So I'm like, let's make some money. It was great on gas, And so I did. I did Uber. I did Lyft. I did DoorDash and Postmates. And I was just, I went out when I had spare time, which was not a lot of time, people, but I still went out, and I made some money with it. And I felt like it was great that we were making money with
With
our
the extra
additional car.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So, so let's fast forward. So that was 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So the Jeep, we actually sold the Jeep last year.
Yes, because a friend of ours needed a car. And it was just sitting in the garage. I wasn't Ubering or anything anymore. And so we were like, you know what? He knows how to drive a stick, and we could get it off our insurance. So go ahead, sell the car.
And he's still driving the Jeep today.
Yes,
because the only reason why that Jeep is a 5-speed. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of, he's not dealing with a transmission and things like that. The maintenance is just a little easier. So we don't have that Jeep no more. And now, present day.
Yes.
Let's talk about your Volvo. Why don't you tell us
the Volvo that
stories?
broke?
Yeah, tell a few
and
stories.
left me stranded in the middle of the street.
Well, real quick, let me preface. The Volvo is a great vehicle. It is a great vehicle. We did not maintain it the best of our abilities. We were putting certain things off, like control arm. We get to it later. No, if somebody tells you to change your control arm, get to it now. But go ahead, sweetie. Yes, because you will make a turn on a speed bump and you won't be able to go any further. And that was the crazy thing. I was literally in the middle of the street in my subdivision, 2 doors down from my house. And I'm like, all I could think about is school buses are not going to be able to get past me. And I couldn't get my son that day. It was just a big old issue thing. So at this point, I'm like, I need a new car. And only because we've had to do some other maintenance stuff with the Volvo, and so I'm like, okay, honey, we need a new car. Well, here's the dilemma or panic mode. This is the panic mode situation regarding the Volvo. In October is when the wheel came off in October. Mm-hmm. So we took it to our mechanic. And our mechanic is great, but what happened was he's ordering, and we also need the axle. Yes. So he's ordering these axles, according to the VIN number, they don't fit. 5 axles. And he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna clean up your old axle and put it back in. And then he had our car for 3 weeks? Yeah, because... And that was driving me. We are not a 1-car family. Even though I stay home, it's no way that, because my husband leaves for work way early in the morning, and even though he was willing to catch the bus and stuff to work, that means I would have to get me and the kids up out of bed at 5 in the morning, drop him off at the bus, which just threw the kids off. Right. We have a son in kindergarten where if he don't get enough sleep, he doesn't do well in school that day. Right. So it was like a big thing, and we're like, we cannot have 1 car for 3 weeks. So... it was, when he put the car back together, we rode it for a while, but it still was like, we need another car. Yeah, and I'm scared it's going to break. What happened next? Oh, she's like, these lights are coming on. Oh, yes. Lights. We thought it was the battery. No, it wasn't the battery. Nope, that didn't work. It's the alternator. Yeah. So we had to replace the alternator. We didn't do it yet. We had to replace the alternator. And so what we wound up doing is, I'm like, you know what? Let's get you a new car. Because that one is almost paid off. Yeah. So let's get you a new car. And so we got her another Volvo. I love my Volvos. They are very safe vehicles. The most safest vehicle probably on the planet. So we got you a new Volvo, and then what we'll do is we'll get rid of the other one. Yes. I'll just make sure I get the parts we're going to fix everything, and then we're going to sell it. Get rid of it. But the whole main purpose of this whole conversation is to, let you know that when you need a car or you think you want a new car, it's like you have to plan for it. It has to be in your budget, and that way you won't make rash decisions. And I will let you know that all of our vehicles, except for the truck, were under $10,000.
So it's like we're not needing the newest car or anything. As long as the car looks decent and it's riding, if the person before you took care of it, because like my current car, I absolutely love it, and whoever had it before me, they took care of this car very, very well, and my children love it. We ride very well, and I mean it's in the budget. So that's how you don't go crazy into panic mode when that's for anything. It might not even be a car. It might be I don't know what can break. It might be a new stove. Your stove might just, stop working. Your refrigerator. But TVs, if you just have it in your budget, then, it makes it easier. Even, cell phone.
People go, I dropped my phone. Let me get the new iPhone for
you don't have to have the new, but it's called patience and make sure and planning. Yeah. Patience and planning. There we go.
Patience and planning.
So, I would love to thank my husband so much for co-hosting with me today. This, of course, has always been awesome, these conversations that we have. And we're just sharing with you to, try and help you out with some life issues or trials or tribulations you may be going through. But I'm going to take my last commercial break, and I will be right back.
1 2 1 2, and I say this is Ty Controller, and I'm here to talk about Dip Square. Dip Square is an online shop that specializes in unique graphic t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, and other apparel. They also offer services like personalized mugs and shoes. Did I just say shoes? Yeah, you can get sneakers with your picture on them at Dip Square. They also have tote bags and other items. Right now, you can save on t-shirts every day by using the discount code I Love Tees. That's I Love TEEZ. You get 14% off because every day is Valentine's Day at Dip Square. So check them out online at dipsquare.com. Dipsquare.com. I guess you know what time it is. Yeah, I know, because it's about that time for the Toni G. Campbell podcast.
Welcome back, and it's time to wrap up. I would like to say thank you so much for listening to Conversations with Toni on Toni G. Campbell, the podcast. And just to let you know, you can just ball on a budget. Don't forget to check out our archive shows on ToniGCampbell.com, where you can also see our show notes for this episode. And don't forget to leave me a comment, subscribe to the podcast, and share the podcast and tell a friend about Conversations with Toni. Make sure you rate and review our podcast. And remember to always be kind, be useful, and be fearless. Thank you. Have a great day.